I actually genuinely feel horrible when we're late with the show. I do.
Yeah, I do too.
But I also know that, motherfuckers are dying, okay? Girl.
People are dying, Kim.
People are dying, Kim.
Actually, people are dying.
But I do genuinely feel bad. And so, not to lay out a bunch of excuses, but I just want to explain how life has been lifing for the both of us. And I feel like it's either one of us is going through some shit and the other one is gung-ho and ready to go, and or both of us are going through some shit and it'll be like, fuck. And then I find the need to apologize to you when I'm like, I know I owe you this. And you're like, no, it's not even that. Or when I text you about something not completely different, you're like, oh yeah, I'll send you that file this day. I'm like, I wasn't even saying that shit. So like there is a built-in guilt when the work isn't done.
Okay, so let me share our text exchange that happened this weekend. When I texted you, and this was a genuine check-in, how are you feeling, Melissa? Because you've been sick for a fortnight. How are you feeling?
But
and
bro,
your response to me was...
Hold on a second. A real fortnight, though. She's not just saying that word.
Real fucking fortnight. No voice. It's not coming out of her face.
Actual laryngitis.
7 years ago, this bitch has been sick.
Sick. As a dog.
She's been mixing codeine and Sprite on the doctor's orders.
For real.
Actually.
Though. Which, by the way, can we just stop and have a moment to talk about scissor? Because I don't think you're supposed to like it.
You do?
Wowzers. I was like, dude, I feel wavy kind of. I don't know how people function at the function.
Your next stop is Xylazine.
If they're... I mean, I feel like I'm getting into drugs, which is terrible. But like, I took Allegra D, Mucinex DM, Advil, Promethazine, and I was leaning on a motherfucker. Then I ate a gummy, and I was like, yo, everything feels fucking awesome, even though I feel like dog shit. So continue. My text message said,
dude, I know, I owe you those edits. And I was like, I'm not even texting to find out where shit is. At this point, it is what it is. Like, it is. I've been reflecting today. I have been reflecting on the fact that tomorrow is the Imperfect Strangers official start of the new year for 2023. Yep. Honestly, over the last 4 weeks, maybe since January 1st, 2023, I have been feeling like I do not want to participate this year. I'm not interested. I've seen the preview over the last 4 months. I do not want to subscribe to this channel. Let's fast forward. I'm not still watching. Take me to 2024.
Right. Yeah, you've had a rough go, which is part of the reason why we were like, yeah, it doesn't start till 420. And, you know, that could change too. Because what if it still sucks after 420?
Well, I have a day tomorrow. I only work until noon. My plan is to come home. I have a special brand of weed that I want to go pick up at the dispensary, all special for tomorrow. My favorite pizza, my favorite seasonal pizza is available at Dewey's right now. So my plan is to just be home all day, be high as fuck, and then eat a lot of pizza when Chris comes home.
And you deserve. Fridays are my self-care day.
Uh-huh.
Because even though the business has changed hands, we still have a lot of existing clients with pre-existing orders that we needed to fill. And there have been staff changes. And when I say staff changes, I mean, it's 5 of us looking at each other like, let's get these things done.
Right. It's really The Last of Us.
Yeah, it is. Been killing it. Like we're a close-knit, tight team. But part of that means, you know, what used to be sitting in front of your computer all day is now sitting in front of your computer sometimes. But also I'm on my feet and I'm doing physical labor, bagging, tagging, boxing. And I'm cool with it. You know, I've always been a team player. And I'm down with physical labor. I'm getting my steps in. I feel good about it. But it's a lot of work to be a factory worker. And then to come home and cook your kids' food. And then everything else. Like, I don't return phone calls. I don't have outfits. Honestly, every day that I get home and I eat something with protein in it and I shower and do my skincare is a successful day.
Yeah.
Period. So Fridays have been my self-care day. So I do my work in the morning. And then I bought a package. And I get a massage.
You
sure
do?
I have moved Hebrew school. In the past 2 weeks, I've moved Hebrew school to Saturday mornings instead of Friday evenings.
Yeah.
I am getting a massage every Friday. And I don't feel bad about it.
I'm jealous. You shouldn't feel bad about it. Shit, you're on concrete floor for 1,000,000 hours a day, probably squatting, bending over, picking stuff up, putting it in. Totally, you deserve.
Squatting, bending over, picking stuff up, putting it in. My God, this has just gone X-rated. Friday is my self-care day. I'm so excited for your self-care day. But most importantly, I am happy to be back here doing a little podcasting because it was an abrupt little mini hiatus. But welcome back.
Welcome back.
Well, the other part was it wasn't for lack of trying.
Oh,
I'm
my
gonna say we
God.
sat down to record 4 times. And in those 4 times, I either had no voice or I was coughing all over the track. You had just gotten out of therapy and that shit, ramp, sad trombone, she said. You know, we had a friend just die. It was awful. But it was like, he was celebrated and it was wonderful. That part was wonderful.
My dad got bad news again. It's just been a lot of shit. And I think the other thing that I've been reflecting on is when it comes to, and this might get a little meta, but bear with me, when it comes to the making of this podcast, we are so particular, first of all, in what goes out. If it's not good, it doesn't go out.
And I think that that's a gift. I am sparing you. Nobody wants to hear a dud of a fucking episode. Honestly.
Nobody wants to hear 2 depressed bitches sitting on, I mean, that the last 3-4 times that we've tried to record, it has been just sad. And I think that that's the second part of this, is that at the core, we've become 2 friends that sometimes we can't get to the making of the episode until we've had a chance to actually talk about some of the things that are going on. And then when you have a show that is personality based and based really on, we're not reading fucking, true crime stories. We're not doing recaps of a TV show. We are having to generate brand new hour-plus long conversations every single week. And if you feel like absolute dog shit because your friend is dead, because you're fucking depressed, because your dad is sick, because your dog died, because the world is fucking on fire, nobody would want to listen to those 4 fucking episodes anyways, because they are downright depressing.
Why they kill my dog and I miss my Uncle Joe. For real. Yeah.
It's really been a Bone Thugs and Harmony song.
I'm glad that you've
heads
been
are falling
reflecting.
off.
I'm glad that you've been reflecting because I felt that way too, but then at the same time, I feel an intense responsibility.
Yeah.
to like show up, because if it's one thing that I do, if it's one thing Melissa Beck does, if it's one thing Justin Beck does, it's that we show the fuck up. We show the fuck up.
Right.
And it's hard when you can't.
It's really
hard when you physically can't. It's hard when you emotionally can't. But we still tried.
We still tried.
And then I want to say this too.
Yeah, go for it.
The other part is, this is not a podcast about Meghan Markle. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no. Yeah, I almost texted you this afternoon. It was like, no matter what, we can't talk about Meghan Markle.
No, and like
we have to put something out.
And I feel like sometimes, you know, we'll start having a conversation about life stuff, regular life stuff. Like, I'm so sorry that you got the bad news about your dad. Melissa, I'm so sorry that your longtime friend and like Long Island hardcore legend died, and you had to experience that at the same time that the company was experiencing a shift. I'm so sorry about all of these big feelings. We will do that dead serious for 45, 55, 65 minutes. The fucking ticker is running, and then it'll be like, but you gonna miss the coronation for the baby though? And it's a genuine question. And the thing is, like, it's so hard to, because only we care about that. You know what I mean?
Nobody cares, Stan. Nobody cares. Or was it Kyle?
It seriously is driving me crazy. I'm sick of hearing about them, but I can't get away from them. They're everywhere, in my face.
Look, Kyle, we just kind of don't care about some dumb prince and his stupid wife.
Yeah, nobody
cares, Kyle.
No, Justin Beck has said to me, babe, no one cares. And you're the only
all
person
I have.
know who follows. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like when you're the only one that watches a really shitty television show. Like, you have to talk to somebody about it.
You have to.
And it's not that, and listen, I don't want to talk about it just because motherfuckers get ran the fuck off the internet. She has somehow reached some Beyonce level of protection where you can't say no. You can't even ask a question. I just asked a question. First of all, I'm rooting for all biracial everything. Period. Everybody knows I love a biracial. I fucking even openly like Drake. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just have questions.
Yeah.
About logistics.
We all do.
On a very nuanced topic of conversation that nobody cares about. That's all.
Yeah.
And I only have Amanda to discuss it with. So once we, roll around in our muck and our wallow, how we pick ourselves back up is like, yeah, did you see that piece on? I just want to know what's happening in Montecito. That's all. And then we don't use it. We don't use the audio because we're scared to get run off the internet. But they're just genuine questions. They're just questions.
Yeah. Well, one time we did that whole sad conversation for 45, 60 minutes and then spent a good 45 talking about our fascination with Ozempic and how we would love to talk about the phenomenon of Ozempic, but we feel that we cannot without getting into trouble. So there was another one, just goodbye.
And when we say getting into trouble, what we mean by that is like this. None of this is meant to be controversial. None of this is meant to veer off into body shaming. None of this is meant to paint anybody in a specific light. Like Amanda specifically cannot talk about Meghan Markle without somebody calling her racist, and I will be the first person to say she is not. She's not. She's asking the same questions I am, and I'm black as fuck. So, when we decide not to put something out because it veers off into even the most remote idea of controversy, I don't do it because I want to protect us, and I don't do it because this is not that kind of show. And I don't want somebody out there listening to be like, well, if they said that, then they feel that about me too. We're not, that's, none of that is happening. We want this to be fucking a good time,
safe space,
a reflective time, whatever. And some things that we could talk about off the air do not work on the air. So
yeah.
every now and again, an episode is 24 hours late. And in this case, 11 days late. However, motherfuckers really did die.
Yeah.
Including the dog.
You really had no voice. We tried to record when she sounded like SpongeBob on TikTok.
I did. You know that tutorial?
Hacking
tutorial
into
voice they used? Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah.
It's still horrible. But
yeah, it's still bad.
Here we are.
But you do feel better?
I finally went to so it started in DC.
Yeah.
Oh, remember we had that great episode about my trip to Washington, D.C., and how I went to the Holocaust Museum and how I went to the African American Museum of History and Culture. And then I was hacking all the way through, and then halfway through the audio was gone because my Audacity was broken. So we've tried really hard.
We've tried. Oh gosh, have we tried? I've told my whole family though about your trip to DC, specifically the lady over the street gate. We've talked about that.
Oh wow.
I have talked to what did Chris and I talk about? Oh, I've talked to Chris endlessly about Xylazine, and then brought it up with Quinn the other day. So there were lots of little gems that came out of that conversation, but thanks to Audacity,
they're never more.
Goodbye.
Then this is me feeling good.
COVID.
Dude, they tested me twice.
No, I know. But anytime I used to cough in the past, you'd say that to me.
It is though.
Felt like it was my turn.
I told you that it is. I think it's COVID that can't be detected.
Special
100%.
brand.
I think that I just have long COVID. Period.
Okay, so you went to DC. You thought you were having allergies. You came home and you were sick as a dog.
Well, I was having allergies because when I would take the Zyrtec in DC, it worked.
Oh, okay.
Right. Then I came home and I was still coughing, but then the cough was really bad only overnight. So because I had perimenopause, I was like, this is perimenopause. Coughing and perimenopause, I looked it up. It was right there. But then I just kept coughing all night, overnight, to where Justin was like, you're sleeping on the couch, bitch.
It's so annoying when you have to sleep with a cougher.
Dude. My kids were like, Mom, for real, they almost set me up in a tent outside. That's how bad I've been coughing. Really bad.
Man.
And then, I was rounding out at day 11, day 12. I have now not slept in like 6 days. Just coughing overnight with a sore throat every day. I finally went to urgent care. They put me on all the drugs, and it didn't help. But I never had a fever. I just felt tired, but I was tired because I wasn't sleeping. My abs, though, baby. So I went back yesterday, and I was like, look, I was up in here on Friday. I probably paid y'all $55. I really don't want to pay $55 again, but I will if you will please write me a prescription for an antibiotic, because I don't think this is going to go away. I think that, I told him I think that it's bacterial bronchitis, which came on because of the other thing that I was fighting.
Yeah.
So I'm on day 3, or I'm on the 3rd dose of a antibiotic, and I'm feeling better. I'm still coughy and gross, but feeling better.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes when you have a cough, like coughs just tend to hang around for like way too long.
Like way too long. And then also because we're in a time where we've experienced a pandemic, and the first symptom of the original coronavirus, remember, it was coughing. So anybody that coughs, you are like, no, you got to
Get out of here. Oh, yes.
Yeah, so like I'm like, not only am I physically tired from all of the coughing, I'm mortified every time I have to cough. It's normal bodily function, and I'm like, oh God, please don't judge me.
Yeah, not COVID is not COVID, guys. Don't worry, it's not COVID.
Dude, at one point, I just put sunglasses on. sunglasses, and then like had a fucking my face in a turtleneck, and I was like, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. But yeah, I like my new little froggy voice.
It's kind of sexy.
Oh my god.
You should go ahead and like, yes, I do. I know exactly. Yep, go for it.
Want me to do like a quiet storm? Good evening, insects. Welcome back to this episode of Imperfect Strangers, where we are here to rock your fucking socks off. Wow. You just asked me to be sexy impromptu, and I literally could not. Rock your fucking socks off? What are you talking about? That's hysterical. But
again, not for lack of trying.
Other than that, how you been?
Oh, how have I been? It's same as usual. Good. I felt like I had something to tell you, and now I can't remember what it was that I was going to tell you. Oh, well,
COVID.
Not COVID. I've tried every day this week to soft 75 my way into the new year, and every day I have failed. I can't even do the soft one. Today I'm going to make it. I just have to go upstairs and read 10 pages of my book, and then I will be officially day one done of soft 75.
You have to tell everybody what soft 75 is, because I think that was also some audio.
That's right. We didn't release.
That was lost.
So Melissa and I had been talking in one of the lost episodes about this thing called soft 75. So you may have heard of this other thing called 75 hard, which is like really one foot in the door towards an eating disorder, if you ask me. But there's all of these rules. You have to work out twice a day. One of those workouts has to be outside. You gotta eat super clean, no cheat meals, no alcohol. You gotta read 10 pages of a self-help or like nonfiction book per day. It's very strict and doesn't sound like fun. So this other one is very gentle, and I thought very doable until I got into it. And then I was like, wow, I'm really bad about prioritizing this. So 75 soft. Are you still going to try it, or are you just like, no, I'm done?
No, I'm actually, tomorrow is going to be my first day back at Orange Theory in like 10 days. So
fantastic. Okay. So if you want to follow along, we have a little thing going in the Discord for our Patreon members. So they have already started twittering about that in the Discord. But the rules are you have to exercise 6 days a week. That can be anything. So when I say exercise, I just mean move your body for like 10 minutes or more. Take a walk, go to the gym, lift, take a class, whatever. Just move your body. The second part is they say eat well. I think that that's too vague, so I changed it to eat nutrient-dense foods, because there's room for everything in your diet, but let's prioritize the nutrient-dense ones. You have to drink 3 liters of water a day. You have to read 10 pages of a book. Can be any book. I chose Fairy Smut for my 75 days.
of course you do.
And you have to... What was the other one? Oh, you can drink alcohol, but it can only be socially. And I think that's it. So, easy peasy.
What about weed?
Oh, there's always room for weed. Weed is from the earth.
Okay, cool. I think I can do 75 soft. I think I can manage that.
Yeah.
Wait, you said 6 days a week?
6 days a week. So let's say if you go to Orange Theory 4 days a week, then the other 2, maybe you just take like a little walk, or you do little yoga on your computer or TV, or you just like do something in your house. I don't know.
Now, how are we logging our results?
Oh, you know
or is
what?
it not
Maybe
results based? Are we just documenting and saying we did it, or it's just
I
we're
think
taking
we're just
people's word for it?
Yeah, I think we're just taking people's word for it. It looks like, according to the Discord, the last time I checked in, everybody was kind of starting at different times. The other thing is if you miss. So when I said I tried to start on Monday, but I kept messing up. If you miss a day, so like let's say that you didn't do your 10 pages of reading, then you have to go back to the beginning and start over again. So there's really like incentive to stick with it so that you don't have to keep starting over. So I think we could just like, maybe we just like check in weekly, like da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Okay. Okay. I tomorrow is going to be my first day back at the gym. I think that I went one time actually in the 2-week vortex of illness, and
Yeah.
I was so nervous to cough. I didn't cough. It was a 45-minute weightlifting class. I was so nervous to cough though. Like my core was engaged, bitch.
Butt clenched.
Girl, I left out of there and I was like, why am I so tired? And I never get a lot of splat points on a working out class, you know, like get my heart rate up, because I'm really like doing my motions really slow, because they say your form is more important than, you know, the repetition part.
100%.
So I'm like really working hard on my form, but because I'm so scared to cough, my butt cheeks are all clenched, my stomach is held tight, and I'm just like, ugh. And I got like, it's a 45-minute class. I had like 28 splat points. I was in that motherfucker with my heart rate up.
Oh no.
And I was like, I don't think I'm ready to come back. I don't think I feel good enough.
Oh gosh.
And at that point, the Zyrtec was working. So I was like, also, but then I had like, I was in my head about, am I going to get everybody sick, whatever. But at this point, you know what?
Nobody cares.
Somebody got me sick. So
Yeah.
what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I do feel kind of bad. But what's crazy is I've been coughing on all of my children. I've been preparing their foods. I've been, you know, helping them with homework. I've been doing all this shit. Nobody in my house is sick. How? Help me understand why I am patient zero.
That always feels like the most unfair. I mean, not like you want to get everybody else sick, but how are they so superior to you in their immune systems?
What happened? Well, I'll tell you why. They're not going through perimenopause. Seriously.
Does that lower your immune system?
Yes. And your self-esteem. I don't know. When we made a perimenopause Discord channel, like that channel is fucking lit all hours of the night. I'll go in there and there's so much discussion. Like we all have it. I don't know. I apologize right now if you're like a dude listening to this and you don't have these problems. But like everybody else that listens to this podcast is experiencing perimenopause, and I just want to say thank you. This has become like one of my favorite channels to go to in the middle of the night. Because every problem that I have, somebody in the Discord also has it. Every single one.
Makes you feel just a little less alone.
Itching all over, random headaches, sore throats, insomnia. Oh my God, my insomnia is through the roof, which is why I was able to do all of that research on Xylazine. So now you are a wealth of knowledge on Xylazine. I didn't even get, that's also in a lost episode. So I'll just tell that story now again.
Okay.
While we were in DC, walking over to where we were going to have breakfast before the Holocaust Museum, we were walking, and I noticed this woman had her pants around her ankles, standing over a grate, and the grate was like pushing up warm air, so I guess she was just standing over that grate to get warm. Because it was a chilly morning. But then I saw a whole doo-doo nugget come out of her butt. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? And I thought I was crazy.
Having experienced you in a city, I'm just imagining your face, your body language in that moment, but also like nobody expects to see a woman pooping into a street grate at 8 o'clock in the morning in the middle of public.
While standing. So I go, oh my God. Like I reacted. And so all of my family stopped and now are staring at me. And I'm literally speechless. I'm just looking at this lady dead in her butt. And my whole family's staring at me and they're like, what? Mom, Melissa, babe, are you Melissa? And because I'm so paralyzed, I don't say anything. Suddenly everybody turns around and now they see what I see and they're like, oh. So I go, okay, girls, let's cross the street over here.
Yeah.
So we cross the street and now me and Justin are looking at each other. Because it's kind of like, this is when parenting is hard.
Do you address it? Do you just pretend like nobody saw it and it didn't happen and we're just going to go on with our day?
Right. Like, did y'all see? And I also am a human and want to go, did y'all see the doo-doo nugget though? Because I just saw it. But it's also not funny and I don't want my kids laughing. You know what I mean? So there was a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, there's also that nervous, do you know what I mean? Like that nervous energy of like, did I just see what I thought I saw? Like
Correct.
there's a lot of layers to it, you know?
Correct. I also was like, am I fucked up for crossing the street?
Yeah.
Like, should I have just acted like that was not really happening and gone on about my business? Yeah, there was a lot going on. And so a part of me felt like, am I disrespecting this person by not crossing the street? Or am I being judgmental by crossing the street? Like, there was a lot. So, and I also have my kids.
Yeah, you have your kids. It can be, in that moment, you're like, okay, you're trying to assess the situation. So, like, if somebody is out of their, right mind enough to be pooping in the middle of a street, who knows what might happen when you walk by. And sometimes those conversations, like we were on the subway this winter and this guy was like shouting about killing people, and it was really like upsetting in the moment to be in a closed train car with somebody that's, clearly having a mental break, but then having to then like sit down with the kids afterwards because they're scared and then explain the situation. So you don't know
Right.
what the right thing to do is. Like,
correct. So Justin and I are now looking at each other, trying to figure out like how we're going to address this.
yeah.
Right? Because I don't want to demonize homelessness. I don't want to demonize mental health.
No.
Because it had to be one or the other. Because I haven't never seen nobody take a shit in the street like that. So Justin and I we're talking with the kids, and I could see that Maja has a lot of questions, and Shalom is just like, ugh. And Shira is, bless her little heart, she's a little statue, and like her eyebrows are just like glued to the top of her fucking forehead. She's just like, what the fuck? So I was just like, sometimes people are in situations where they can't get to a bathroom or whatever, or sometimes people, their brains are different, and maybe she didn't know that that's what was happening, or maybe she has become unaware of her surroundings. And so like we're trying to explain how, life puts you in different places, whether it's by circumstance, whether it's by bad choices, whether it's whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But that happened, and we are going to go on about our business. So anyway, I then got into a vortex because I was wanting to understand the level of homelessness and the things that I saw while I was in DC. And that led me to reading up on the homelessness and drug issues happening in primarily Philadelphia, San Francisco, New York, DC, etc. And you click on one article, the next article, the next article, the next article, because I like to try to figure out, like, how did this come to be? How did this happen? How are we fixing it? Like, where did society fail these people?
Yeah.
And where does that meet personal responsibility and all that shit? You know me.
Yeah.
I'll be trying to get information. And I came across Xylazine, and I was like, yo, this is wild. And then I told you about xylazine, so now you know all about xylazine. Anyway, xylazine is a new drug on the street. It's a tranquilizer, horse tranquilizer. So they call it Tranq, Tranq, and it Narcan does not work on it, and it just fucking zones you the fuck out. So like, you'll see people bent over at the waist and like swaying a little bit. They're completely, totally out of it, but it's not a K-hole. They're just like zombies. Anyway, that's what's on the streets, and I don't know how I ended up in that place just from that lady doo-dooing in a grate, but I did. And
well, it's after we talked about it the last time, I did go on to the Reddit threads and start to look, and I found the documentary that you were telling me about where the gentleman was just like, I either need to die or be locked up in jail because there's absolutely no way around this. It's so scary. I like hard drugs like that. I think ever since I was a little kid, like I feel like when you were in elementary school or middle school and they had Dare come in, they made you feel like you were going to be offered like hard drugs at every turn. Anytime you went to a party as a teenager, somebody would be like, hey, you want to do some heroin? So it's always been something that's like been very scary to me, because the thought of like getting high that first time and then automatically being addicted to some of these things just is terrifying. And then to then have this, you know, things like fentanyl mixed into drugs and that shit out of Australia, that crocodile that eats your skin. And now this also eats your skin.
Yep.
It just is, it's so depressing and it's so sad. The cycles that folks get stuck in, and all of these things that are, you know, being designed and developed, you know, to either make the high, you know, better or longer, or, you know, it's so scary.
Well, what's really like scary about it is when I was watching that documentary, it was like half the people in there had no intention of doing tranq.
Yeah.
Like their shit that they normally do was cut with it. And then their brain becomes wired to need that shit. It doesn't even feel good.
Yeah.
It just makes their body sleep. And I guess when they're in a state of sleep, they don't have to feel the things that made them do drugs anyway. So like,
yeah. I can't knock it. Sleeping's my preferred method of avoiding my problems.
Right. And I feel bad because, and like I try to have these conversations with Justin, but he is just he has no gray area. He has no, he has a very black and white way of thinking, and he has chosen to not do drugs and has chosen to not drink alcohol. And like, he took that oath to be straight edge as like a 13-year-old kid, and like 30 years later, he's still straight edge. So like,
yeah,
he can understand why people get involved in doing drugs. He can't understand the choice to continue. So like, when I'm like, well, it's a brain wiring, addiction is a disease, and like I'll be trying to explain, he'll be like, I know, but like at some point you got to be like, yo, this fucking sucks. I'm like, I know, but not everybody gets to that point. And also, it's a brain wiring. Like it is.
Yeah, it alters your chemistry. It's the same, you know, it's one of those things where you permanently, once you're hooked, you're forever an addict. And so, you know, there's never going to be a time once, you know, if you decide to get sober, that you're not going to be constantly fighting that, or, you know, transferring your addiction onto something else. So I think, you know, there may be some cases where people can just, you know, quit hard drugs cold turkey, but that is not the norm. And it's incredibly sad. We've had experience with it in our family, and
it's
incredibly sad to watch somebody just
when you have it in your family up close,
Disintegrate. Yeah.
you have a different level of empathy about that shit.
Yeah.
Because you're like, no, I knew this person before their brain was wired this way.
Yeah.
This person would never steal. This person would never lie. The person that is on the drugs would do that shit.
Yeah.
And like, it's very hard to like separate the before drugs person and the after drugs person, because you could only experience so many disappointments with their
And you get
choices.
so worn down.
Yep. You have to at some point learn to love from afar.
Yeah.
So like he doesn't have like, I'm gonna say Justin Beck. I'm gonna say everybody in his family is just a wholesome ass good person. Don't nobody got a record.
That's incredible.
It's incredible.
I mean, who everybody's got at least one.
2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Yeah, then he married me.
Let the riffraff in.
I mean, listen, I have to say though, like, I understand that, you know, some people don't think that it is a disease, and some people don't think that there is a predisposition, but there really is. So, you know, like, I know that I can't fuck around. You know what I'm saying? Like, I joke and
Totally.
everything, like, I really like that promethazine. Girl, there will be a 3/4 full bottle of promethazine in this house until 2028, because I'll be so scared to like drink that shit even if a cough comes back, because I know
Yeah.
I can't just start liking stuff.
You have to. I mean, I remember a few years ago, one of the questions when I was taking my kids in for a well visit, you know, one of the questions is they ask about a family history of addiction. And I, you know, put down the information that I had. And my pediatrician just said, this is great. She said, you know what? We just watch to see if the kids have any traits that show that they might have an addictive personality. And then you learn how to, you know, to coach them through that and to help them to be, you know, hopefully in a good place where they don't get into trouble because of that. So you can come at it from different ways, but a lot of it, I feel like there's either something that happens to you that rewires your brain, and then you get into that, or you start using, and then obviously, you know, it messes with, you know, the way that you get your dopamine. Like, you start to get those hits of dopamine, and you just, our bodies crave it. It's the same for food or for anything else that we're addicted to.
Yes. I also think that you either go so far in one direction or so far in the other. You ever read the book Adult Children of Alcoholics? And it lays out all of the ways in which you behave that are a byproduct of the environment you were in.
Mm-hmm.
So you will either also become an alcoholic, or you will be an overachiever and be so careful around that shit that you just could never become an alcoholic. It's always there, and you're scared of it. You're so scared of it that you know to be careful. It shapes your personality. So like whether or not you're a secretive person, whether or not you're a perfectionist, all that stuff. So I know about me, you know, like if I want to handle my business, then I have to allot certain times for when I can do social drinking or whatever. Like, I don't keep alcohol in my house for like just to have, like, I don't have a bar cart, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't even want that shit. I don't want to drink. I would like to if I'm around other people and we're having a drink, but I don't just be up in here drinking, you know?
Yeah.
But some people do and some people can, but I just don't have that. Because I know.
Well, I think because you know, as long as you know and you take the steps to monitor your behavior, you know, just like with the kids, you keep an eye out and address it if it needs to be addressed. But that whole Xylazine thing, man, it's scary. It's scary to see those videos and people
the
just
rotting
like
flesh. Oof.
just the rotting flesh. I mean, there was one where it was just, there must have been 20 people on this block. Some were passed out with, lit cigarettes in their hands. Others passed out with needles in their arms. It just is so fucking sad.
It was terrible. But I'm going to tell you something. That Reddit. If there is something Reddit is like a search engine. If there's something you want to know about and you want to take a deep dive, Reddit.
I fall more in love with it every day.
Like, I want to master Reddit how I mastered Twitter. One day I'm going to be bold enough to make a comment.
Well, you don't make any comments at all?
I'm scared.
Mm. I was for a while. I was just a lurker. And then more recently, I've started making commentary.
Oh, you be in there like, actually. I mean, like, what do you, like, are you just be chiming? Are you talking to people? Like, are you meeting people? Or no?
No, I haven't made any friends yet. But I'm trying to think of what. Well, let's see. What did I comment on earlier?
Oh, so like you have karma and all that shit.
Yeah, I have. There was something that I said the other day, and I got upvotes. Oh, somehow I landed into a sub-thread called handbags, and someone posted this adorable little wallet, and they were like, "This was so expensive, and I love it so much, but I'm afraid to carry it." And I said, anytime I feel nervous to use my nice things, I always think of Mary-Kate Olsen and her busted ass Birkin. And that comment got me 82 upvotes. Just that one thing. So it does feel a little good.
So what happens? The more upvotes you get, the more karma you get?
I don't know, but I just see somebody made a flare called Busted Ass Birkin. So I even created
What's a flare?
Okay, so some Reddit threads have things called flare. And if you hit the 3 dots at the top of the thread, you can choose your flare. And usually, like if it's a blog snark, it might be some of the things that they say about the people that make the blog. But you can add a specific little like tagline or little inside joke to your profile name. So then every time you post, that little thing pops up. So like the girl that commented below me that said, "Can I have this for my flare?" Now it says her username, and then below it says Busted Ass Birkin.
So it's like your status. Not your status. It's like your bio.
It's just like a little like actual flare, like Office Space, like it's like your little pin.
See, I'm scared to post. Like I have been lurking now for a long time. I posted in the Glassjaw Reddit like years ago. One time someone asked a question about Justin Beck's drum kit or something, and I was like, actually it's this and that, and I was like, oh shit. And then the next thing you know, I'm talking to a bunch of Glassjaw fans about Justin Beck's drum kit and how fucking noisy it is, and how I'm a really fucking awesome wife.
But thanks to that drum kit, we had cowbell.
Yeah, totally. But I was like, I should not be posting on here, and everybody knows I'm me. That's kind of dumb. So I was like, why don't I just lurk? So I just be lurking.
Well, you got to have like an ambiguous, or not ambiguous. You need to have like a good handle. Like you couldn't be Beck's wife.
Yeah, that was my handle, like a dumbass. I don't even know what my handle is now. My lurking
It could be
handle.
like biracial butterfly. Then nobody would know who you are.
They just gave me a lurking handle. Like
You didn't have to pick a name?
No, it just said, I don't know what the fuck it is.
Oh.
But I don't be
I
talking
didn't-
on there.
Yeah.
I'm scared. Like, what if I die and someone needs to go in my computer to find out, like, my last bank transactions or whatever? Or what if I go missing and someone needs to do that shit? Like, an investigation on my computer, and it'll be like, this fucking bitch is so weird. I really do think about that shit.
What? Okay, so you go missing. Your phone is left behind and they unlock it. What is the most embarrassing thing they're going to find on your cell phone?
Oh, God. Well,
Are you thinking or did this cut out?
no, I don't have to think. I know what the most embarrassing thing is. They will go right into the history and be like, really, Melissa? 17 videos of that? But you know how I feel about South American podiatry. So it's like... They are just such experts in their field. And there's no blood. And I'm just fascinated by it. And, you know, you people like your pimples and your earwax, that's not even where the fucking good shit is. The good shit is in South American podiatry. I don't even understand the words these people are saying. But it's just very relaxing. It's like getting a pedicure, which is gross. Yeah. Do you think I have a foot fetish?
You know,
I hate feet, though.
I mean, given your fascination with feet, with teeth, you really might be onto something there, actually.
You know? I just think, it's like, what do you watch to relax at night? Like, what if you had to just kick up something on YouTube?
Oh, it's always Dateline or 2020.
I do that in the morning when I drive.
I just realized I'm the weirdo that will watch the show, listen to the podcast, and then listen to the recap podcast all on the same episode.
Okay, see, you got
It's a
me doing that
sickness.
shit. So now, in the mornings, I don't know what the fuck's happening. In the mornings, I'll listen to an episode of 2020 or I'll listen to an episode of Dateline, and then I'll come home and fire it up and have it on
And
in
watch
the background.
it.
Why?
Because I want to see what the people look like.
Correct. And I just can't believe Nick Fergus got away with murdering Heidi for so long. Like,
Wait,
clearly
what?
there was no intruder. The last one I watched, this man said that there were... First of all, he should have gotten the death penalty because he blamed it on a black man. Period. Anytime you blame a crime on a black person, death penalty. I don't care if you said that a black person just stole a candy cane. Death penalty.
Yeah.
So this man, they were like, no kids, in their 20s. And, you know, he was the husband of the house. They went to church. They were just a nice couple.
Did he shoot her with the
6 in the-
shotgun? Is this the
6
one
in the
in
morning.
Minneapolis? Yes.
6 a.m. Shot her, but did it in such a way where he had her calling 911, talking about there's somebody breaking in my house. She gets shot.
Yes.
Then he gets back on the phone. He's like, no! A whole actor. Okay?
Yes. He had me
No.
fooled in the beginning. Chris was like, he did it. The husband did it. The husband did it. And I was like, no way, dude. I was like, she was on 911 in the opening of the show telling them that somebody was breaking in. I was like, how could he be the one to shoot her if she hears somebody breaking in?
Because he was the motherfucker in the mask.
I know. So crazy.
That was crazy. And he lured her down to the basement.
Yep.
Why would you be behind? He lured her down to the basement with her in front of him and him with the gun behind her. Anyway, got away with it for 10 or 15 years or however long.
Mm-hmm.
He's in jail now, so spoiler alert. What I found
Who
so
killed
crazy,
Courtney Coco?
baby, I just listened to that one the other day.
Golly, that was depressing. I felt so bad for her sister.
Girl, I really thought it was Jitty. I really do be getting involved, but only recently, when you said that you would fire it up on the TV, I'm like, what do you need to watch it for? But yes, there's something about because I hear it first. I don't know what anybody looks like.
Yeah.
And then I watch it, and now I know what everybody looks like. And I'm like, wow, wow, wow.
Now, the next layer of that is that I have been listening to A Date with Dateline for so long now that I'll listen to the episode or watch it, and during the episode, I'll go, I wonder what Kimberly and Katie think about that, or I wonder if they're going to mention that on the show. So now there's this whole new layer where I'm like,
you have friends in your head.
I want to see if they talk about it when they do their episode.
Yeah, and then you'll be in your car by yourself like, same.
Yeah. It's really a sickness.
So, like, I turned on the Nick Furcus, right? And now Justin sits down. And I'm telling him everything that's about to happen. He's like, did you already watch this? And I was like, no, I listened to it in the car on the way home. And he's like, but, so why are we watching it? And I'm like, because I didn't know what they look like.
Yeah.
And he's like, but you already know the answer? I'm like, oh, yeah. He's in jail. And he's like, but you're just watching it still. I'm like, yes.
Yes, of course. There's one. What did I just listen to today? The one about the old man whose wife shot him. He was a widower. What was his name? Last Dance in the Rockies.
Girl, I'm. Don't tell me the ending. I'm still there.
I need to watch it because now I want to see what Miriam looks like. I want to see what Alan looks like.
Well,
I need to
first
know...
of all, I'm only 30 minutes in, but guess what, Miriam? I knew from the beginning. Those voicemails sound so fake. Love you. Hey, give me a call. This is not like you. I was like, fake. She did it.
Gold digging ass bitch.
Well, I don't mind a gold digger, but yeah. No, you know what though? I remember my philosophy on gold digging. There's no such thing as a gold digger. There's only a dumbass man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you are stupid enough to fall for the shit, then that's your dumbass, and she deserves every coin. Okay?
I thought we weren't talking about Meghan Markle anymore.
Oh! Hey!
And with that.
Well, the funny thing about that is, I do think that he probably really did live modestly. And when she saw Frogmore Cottage, because I saw Frogmore Cottage, I was like, what in the IKEA? This ain't no castle.
Yeah.
And I gotta be honest, I'd have been disappointed too. You mean to tell me I've been scheming on this motherfucking man since 8th grade?
Hello out there in the Imperfect Strangers podcast universe. Thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for your support. If you want more Imperfect Strangers in your life, make sure that you are subscribing to the show wherever you listen to podcasts, except for Spotify. We're sorry about that, but we just did not like being over there given some of the stuff that happened with it the last year. So sorry, Spotify users, but there are tons of other places where you can listen to the show, and you can find links to those from our website and also from our social media, specifically Instagram. You can find us on Instagram at imperfectstrangers_podcast, on Twitter at imperfstrangers. We've recently joined TikTok. We're too old to be doing this, but there we are. You can find us on TikTok at Imperfect Strangers Pod. Give us a follow. You'll find new episodes of this show every Friday, so make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss out. And then make sure to join us on Mondays on Instagram for a very special Monday Night Live where we talk about the episode, we answer your questions, and we always go off topic. So miss a live, miss a lot. And if you need even more Imperfect Strangers in your life, because I know that some of you are just like, give me more content. And we're like, okay, come join our Patreon, patreon.com/imperfect strangers. We have extra episodes, so you can get not 1 but 2 episodes a week over there at our actual friends tier. We have strangers with benefits. They get access to Monday Night Lives, so if you miss a live on a Monday, you can always catch up over there on Patreon. We are working our little behinds off to give you early and ad-free content. So if you want to get the episode before everybody else gets it on Friday, you can do that through our Patreon as well. We have a private Discord, so go over there, check out the website, patreon.com/imperfect strangers, to see what else is there. We also have brand new merch. You can find that linked in our Instagram bio. We're releasing seasonal capsules now. So right now we have all kinds of apparel. We have a sticker, we have a mug. So if you want to represent your second favorite podcast on your body or in your little hand, you can do so by buying our merch. And thank you for supporting us. We will see you next Friday with a brand new episode. Bye.